Hello. All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the August 20th, 2025 iteration of the Hyperlight Fortnightly community meeting. These meetings are recorded and uploaded to YouTube. So if you are uncomfortable with that, feel free to stay uh, like muted or anything. We can try our best to accommodate that. And this meeting is subject to the CNCF Code of Conduct. There's a link to the Code of Conduct at the top of the meeting notes, but it pretty much boils down to just be a good person to everybody. So yeah, this is the first time that we have our new Zoom account hosted by the CNCF for Linux Foundation, so we won't be subject to the 40 minutes. Like the 40-minute cutoff for the meeting. I did look and I saw like the only place that I saw the link that wasn't in like personal like email or personal email like personal Outlook events and stuff was in the meeting notes, so I updated that. If anybody sees a reference to the old community meeting, please let me know. The Slack reminder to just link to the meeting notes. So I think we're all good there. All right, and also if everybody who joins could add themselves to the attendees list, we'd appreciate that. I put a link to the meeting notes in the meeting chat too. So with that, I think we can start off with some announcements. I see some announcements for Hyperlight and Hyperlight WASM have a new 0.8.0 release. Does anybody want to quickly go over some highlights for those? Now I can open up the release highlights.
Yeah, so I think the two major things that came out in 0.8 was the memory mapping support for KVM and MSH, and then as well as this using the snapshot API. Both of these have some pretty significant performance impacts. Um, there was a one breaking change in the behavior of if you were using the component bindgen macros. Uh, where the guest memory isn't being reset any longer. Um, we did keep around the old behavior in the previous iteration, but some of the major usage patterns that we'd seen um, from from folks using the library was they would take a snapshot, load some user code, execute it, and then return that, or, like reset it and return it to the pool. And we were doing that work twice in that instance. And so um, this removes the need to that and gives a little bit more control to the end user. So can get quite a big performance improvement. And I think we've seen that in the benchmarks that we've been testing, I guess.
Yep. And then here's the release notes for Hyperlight WASM. A lot of dependency bumps, and I'm assuming any of the plumbing needed to update all of that. Is there anything that we want to call out for that as well?
Yeah, I would like to call out. There's some fixes regarding. There were some situations where building Hyperlight was picking up the wrong C compiler, and that should be fixed now.
Okay. These are a lot harder to go through. Maybe we should try and update the release notes to be more curated like this, but we can do that in the future.
Yeah, I think it's dependable is supposed to attach the dependencies label, right? So that it gets excluded from the change
Yeah.
log. Maybe that's not working as it would in core.
It's got kind dependencies. I think we could take a look at that offline. But okay, yeah, awesome work, everybody. And I see another announcement that Hyperlight will be on at RustConf. Does anybody want to plug the Hyperlight talks?
Yeah, so I put in there. I have a talk with other member of our team, Ludwig. We'll be at RustConf talking specifically about how we've re-engineered from being, a .NET project to Rust, the successes and sort of challenges that we had there. So if anyone else will be at RustConf, feel free to come in and talk to us.
And I believe, does RustConf publish all of their talks on YouTube afterwards too?
I think so.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, we'll be sure to try and link to that in the announcements in future community meeting.
Yep.
Okay. Does anybody have any other announcements? If not, we can go into the discussion items, which we don't have any right now. So
Sorry, did we discuss the breaking changes that came with Hyperlight 0.8?
we briefly did. If anybody wants to
Okay.
go into more details, go for it.
Yeah, so there's a big change, and is that the call guest function by name now method is deprecated, and now it's been like the supported like the recommended approach is to use the call method. There's a small possibility of collision with a method of the same name in the callable trait. So if you were using the callable trait and you get a warning that that thing is not being used anymore, it's because you were switched from using the call method in the callable trait to the call method in the sandbox. So that's a flag because that's a change in behavior. They don't have the same behavior. So now the call method and the callable trait also change behavior, but yeah, that's like that's a gotcha that if you were not paying attention could impact. Yeah, and there's the snapshotting API that so the recommended approach is to use call with a snapshotting API.
Yep. Awesome. And I'm assuming there's more details in the PR description if anybody's interested.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Does anybody have anything they want to discuss? Should we go into issue triage? I think this is I think we were kind of busy trying to get the Hyperlight 0.8.0 release out. So we don't have that many discussion items today. Drew, go ahead, James.
Yeah, yeah, I was just gonna say, I threw the issue triage on there. I thought we could maybe go through the backlog and start to prioritize some of those. I don't think we've been through that in a long time.
Okay, does somebody else want to drive that? Or can
Happy to do it. Dan doesn't want to do it, or Dan.
No, if anyone else wants to do it, go ahead.
I'll stop sharing. Let's see how sharing works in the new meeting. Do you want to try sharing, James?
Yeah, just a second. Making sure I'm sharing this correctly.
Okay, looks like it's working and just set up so people can share. But I didn't
Thanks,
have to
yeah.
approve anything as the host, so that's good.
Cool. I think we need to go to tools. So we'll just quickly go through any new issues that came in.
I think it might be
No,
the needs
oops.
review.
Yeah, sorry. I thought I picked that one. Yeah, so this one is it possible to execute a .NET app inside Hyperlight? I did respond yesterday. I said that running the .NET runtime might be hard in the guest, but Hyperlight WASM might be able to solve that problem for them. I don't know if anybody wants to add anything there or what we should do with this.
I have a question.
Sure.
If the .NET runtime can be compiled to WASM, why can't it be compiled to Hyperlight?
It might be able to. I don't know if anybody's tried it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it should be possible, right? But just not necessarily trivial.
David?
It probably depends on what surface area of .NET they're targeting. .NET has can have quite a large surface area, just like anything else. So
Indeed. Yes, we've seen it before in WebAssembly where we had a solution where we were doing this with .NET actually a couple of years ago, I believe.
Oh, okay.
With Steve Sanderson showed it off a build where he had a really nice interface over it where he would run an ASP.NET app and then execute some arbitrary like questionable code within a Hyperlight boundary and ended up using a disposable pattern with a sandbox and just give a using brace and that using closure then executed whatever that code was within there in Hyperlight. And it's very fascinating. Really great approach, I think. It was, you know, to the developer observer, it was fluent .NET, right? It was just very simple. Didn't really have to think about too much. This may actually be easier to build on top of, like, say, Nanvix and have that run in a richer environment than Hyperlight. However, I could definitely see, like, if you really, really wanted to do this, uh, having a specialized runtime in Hyperlight, a Hyperlight guest for doing this particular thing. Um, it would definitely be, bigger than a bread box, but probably smaller than a Chevy kind of thing. Um, I just, I don't, I don't know that we want to take it on as a core group. However, if somebody was very interested in this, I would totally encourage them to give it a shot. Like if they were willing to go hack on this stuff and go check it out and try, I think we'd be in a good position to help them or give them pointers on how to do it. However, I don't know that we're going to go pursue this in the near term. How's that?
I think that makes sense.
Was there a label that we would put that under?
Yeah, I think do we have a help wanted? Maybe that's or maybe that's gone. Oh, it is there.
Help
So that could be a
wanted
help one.
and beware.
Yeah.
Where is it?
I think there might not be a life cycle.
Just maybe take this off. Is there anything
Yeah. I think so.
area?
You gonna put that in the backlog, James?
Oh, sure.
Or parked? I forget.
Which one? Where does that go?
I think milestones, right?
Yeah, maybe parked is applicable.
Do we want to? Does anybody have a link to that video? Maybe we could somebody drop it into this issue and just say, hey, here's somebody that did try doing this at one point.
I will hunt it down and I'll add it to the issue.
Awesome. Okay, all right. So no other ones there. I'm gonna pop over to Hyperlight WASM. I know there was another one over there that we might want to discuss as well. Yeah, so this is another one. I also responded here, but if anybody else has any other input, they're trying to use, or they're asking if using the GPU is available through Hyperlight, in particular through Hyperlight WASM. I just pointed them to the WASI GFX repository and said we could implement that here. I think there's an example. I don't know if anybody else has any other input. Seems like something we might want to enable at some point when we start talking about the various WASI interfaces.
I think that's correct. I think the big thing that is being hidden by proposing to go to and use what was it FX is that then you have to implement the host bindings.
Yeah.
Which is non-trivial.
Oops. Confirmed, maybe? And then stick that in the backlog too. Does it make sense to have a new dirty sandbox snapshot? This looks like it was an issue from the recent upgrade. Does anybody have any comments here? Sounds like maybe kind of a API improvement. Oops. I'm gonna just move it to confirmed and put it on the backlog. Okay. Oh, man. Sorry about that. The UI is a little laggy. Is Ludwig on the call? Do you have any thoughts here? Not sure what this one is.
Should be.
Oh,
Yeah.
Lucy?
Yeah, I think these two are both just comments I had on Ludwig's PR that he decided would make more sense to promote into issues to look at in the longer timeline.
Yeah. I just put in an issue to save it because I want to get to it eventually, probably.
Okay. Don't install nightly toolchain in just file. Something that can be put on the backlog. Or the Zoom interface is like in my way, no matter where I put it. Okay, and then both of these are actually in progress and have open PRs. So, oops. Cool. And then I'll do that one for this one too. And I think we're good, and we can go look at the backlog.
Now that we have milestones and all the issue labels replicated across Hyperlight Wasm and Hyperlight, it might be useful to create GitHub project board so that we can see it all in one place and we don't have to swap in between the repos. It's something that Mark and I did beforehand, and it's pretty useful.
Okay, cool. I actually think I started that, but it wasn't automating like all
Oh,
of
nice.
the files across. So can we visit it?
Yeah, I think we just need to make sure that everything gets onto that project board. Right?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Should we kind of go through the backlog's massive, but maybe kind of scan through it for things that might we might want to prioritize. How do we want to go about that? Does anybody have anything in the backlog, or should we just kind of quickly scan through and see if there's anything that makes sense?
Do you want to check the? So I feel like we have a couple of options. We can either check the backlog. We also have upcoming, and I know you've been doing some work right there, James.
Oh yes. Okay.
Or maybe even 09. It's technically due 7 days from now.
Yeah, I was just gonna comment
So
on that as well. I saw
quite a
that when
few,
we were looking at things.
yeah, quite a few open issues.
Sure. Okay, so 09. Implement memory mapping. I don't think this is going to make it since Simon's out.
Yeah.
So can move that. Oh, sorry, I clicked the wrong. Thing here. Don't Alec and memory panic handler. Looks like Adam's going to give this a go. Approve guest TLB. Do we think that will make it into 09? I heard somebody come off mute.
Yeah, doing this on x86 is really irritating. It probably needs to happen pretty soon. It would be nice if it was in 09. I'm non-committal either way on whether it will probably get merged in time. Like, hopefully, but not certain.
Okay.
I mean, I guess not just merged, designed and merged.
Great. And then, so how about call clear IO buffers?
Yeah, just not high priority, so we're gonna get to it when we get to it.
Okay, so oh man, I just really want to click on that. So should we move it to?
Leave it in 09. If I get the time to get to it before next week, we can put it. Otherwise, I can move it afterwards.
Okay. Are there any in 09 that we want to maybe move that anybody knows? Otherwise, should we? Or that we definitely want to keep in?
The remove MSHP2 stuff, I'm doubting is going to happen.
Right. I think we moved it to not by default, but we're not going to remove it quite yet. So
Yeah. Do we want to set a target for when we think we're going to try and remove it again, rather than just moving it out each release?
I think that'll probably depend on our.
Yeah. Maybe should we just park it then?
I feel like last time we discussed, we felt like it was likely that it was going to happen in 09 finally. So maybe like 010 is pretty reasonable still.
Okay.
Yeah. Basically, as soon as we know everyone isn't using this anymore, and they shouldn't be very soon.
Okay. Let's see. Avoid unnecessary memory copies. I think this is in progress, at least partially, right, Ludwig? So,
Yeah, I have a PR open.
okay, cool. And then this tracing is partially completed. And I know that Doro is currently actively working on it. Is he in the call?
Yeah. It's work in progress.
Cool. How about this passing large parameters function slow? This is the, oh yeah, okay, so this is this function call should be, so that's got a PR associated. This I will be working on today. I think I finally figured out the other issue I was working on, so should be able to get to it. And then rethink driver API. I think we discussed maybe putting this back on the backlog. Okay. Should we look at V10 then, just to start thinking about what's coming next?
Sounds good.
So we have simple drop for host resources in the guest. This sounds like something we'd probably want to resolve pretty soon. Is this Lucy, is this so the memory would leak on the host side? Or is this like leaking
yeah.
on the okay,
So none
yeah,
of the interfaces that we have seen people using yet have a problem with this, but like the WASI HTTP server interface, for example, potentially might be able to. I just noticed this while fixing some other bugs. We should definitely do it soon. I didn't want to commit to doing it in 09, so I put it in 010 for now.
okay, cool. That seems like something we do want to resolve sooner rather than later.
Like, we definitely want to do it. I don't think it's urgent enough that we have to absolutely race to make sure it's in 09.
Yep, that makes sense. This is clean up the API. So this is just kind of tightening things up so that folks don't accidentally take dependencies on things that we don't want them to take dependencies on. I think this is generally a pretty good thing to do. There's quite a bit here. Should we? Is this something we want to do sooner rather than later, or?
I think so, and it's a low-hanging fruit, right? It's not much effort to do it.
Okay.
The only thing we need to make sure that no one is using them before we remove them. So probably scheduling a chat with our consumers.
Investigate feature. Okay, sounds like a pretty important thing to make sure works for debugging.
Hey, James.
Yes.
You may not see my hand.
Oh,
just-
sorry. Yeah, definitely
Thank
did.
you. Just wanted to make a quick comment on that last one. Can we just go through and mark those functions as deprecated in the earliest possible time? And then, that will that will likely spark a conversation as well. So if we mark them as deprecated, we'll see, cargo warnings, right, during builds, and it'll alert people, oh no, what's going on? And they may proactively get to us if we aren't able to reach them directly. We know of some folks that are using our software. However, we likely don't know of everybody.
Yeah, that's a great suggestion.
Jorge, you have your hand up.
There's a small like gotcha with that, and it's that it's going to be marked like we use them internally. So we will have to annotate that allow this deprecated thing internally everywhere we use it. But it's just a gotcha. It's still possible to do it.
We just talked about this one. Allow host mappings to have just deconstructors. We should provide some support to ensure that the host mapping objects are no longer needed. They have a chance to run a deconstructor. Oh, yes, I think we talked about this. This is, I think, important to do. Anybody have any comments there? Sorry, I cannot see the hands raised or comments.
You're kidding,
Sorry.
Sanderson.
There we go. I can get a little cameo from Steve Sanderson. Okay, and then enabling debugging WASM modules with native debug. Yes, so that is, we're just waiting on the latest release of WASM time. Should be out by 0.10. We just moved that. Improve performance when creating larger sandboxes. I think that's related to the page tracking, which we said we were going to revisit once the guest cow stuff was. So leave it there for now. Is there anything that we should be, that's anybody's aware of that we should put into the V10 milestone that's on their mind that we should be tracking? Otherwise, we can maybe review that again next time, but I think we're coming up to the end of the meeting here. Anything else? All right.
Nope, I think we're probably good.
Sweet. I'll hand it back to you, Mark, to close up the meeting.
All right. All I'm gonna do is push the end button pretty soon. So instead of us getting all kicked off, we get some warning this time, which is nice. But yeah, thanks, Jim, for going over the board, and thanks all for attending. See everybody in 2 weeks.
Thanks,
Thanks, y'all.
James. Thanks, Mark.
Yep.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks. See you.